A sentiment that I've heard a couple times, and once in person from people over and usually it's people from Europe, is that the problem with American politics is that we have no king. That's the general sentiment. It could be expanded: no queen, or no royalty, or no emperor, or something like that. And the sentiment seems to appeal to the idea that there is a need for man to, or for subjects of a culture, to have a cultural headpiece. Someone that could remind us, in our example, or in our case, that we're all American, and when tragedy strikes, this is how Americans deal with this. This is, it would be someone who could pluck our cultural heartstrings, who could speak to us like an American and say, it's going to be all right. We don't have that, however. While, say, a country like Britain that has the royal family, that is there as a headpiece, as a kind of a face of their nation, without necessarily having any legal authority over the policy making of state, the people are able to throw their affinities, their affections towards the royal family. They're able to feel like they belong somewhere in their family, that the queen is not just the last fingernail on the cliff of an old system, but rather she is a mother figure to the country. When Princess Diana died, it was a personal loss for the people of Britain, and it was because the people identify with that family. We are family creatures, I believe. I really do. I think it's more complicated, though it begins with the Darwinian sense that we want the biggest, strongest guy and say, I'm with him. And on a more complicated take of I think that would more readily encapsulate the human creature, it's this need to exist in a family structure, to have a mother, a father, whatever else. I wonder, in fact, that if that's why America is predominantly so Christian. Not to say that Britain isn't Christian, but Britain is not as conservative or makes so many appeals to God as Americans do. It's as if we are still fighting to find that father figure, and through the generations, instead of Christianity perhaps fading away, we have taken that aspect of the ultimate father figure and placed it within our systems of state. You have to be Protestant, you have to be white, for a long time anyway, to get into office. And that, even though Barack Obama is in the White House, he still is a Christian, and he tells people this, and that's an important talking point. And I don't really think it's going to change anytime soon. In addition to that, the presence of God in our politics, I believe you're also going to see a continuation of the need for celebrities to be in the process. Jesse Ventura was not the last. There was then Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then to a small extent Barack Obama, because Barack had the edge over Hillary because he is a black man, went on a lesbians talk show and busted a move. There's something distinctly American in that. So it's really two things. One, it's this desire to be in a family structure, and another one is this desire to have a cultural head or a cultural significance or something, a cultural body to fall back on, to remind us, oh yeah, we're Americans, this is how we deal with things, we're going to get through this because we got through the Revolution and the Civil War and whatever, and the Great Depression, or whatever the case may be, whatever it really actually means to be an American, right? But like I said, ideally, we would come to coping with the tragedies of the world in a rational and independent way. But in the meantime, while we wait for that magical switch to flip in our head, I really have to wonder, what is the harm in a cultural body that acts as an ultimate or an absolute source of sentimental stability?